So he says, there are only two ways to live your life. One as though nothing is a miracle, and the other as though everything is a miracle. So, you know, Einstein was no joke. Like, he had some pretty profound insights into the nature of reality, okay? Like, this guy, you know. I mean, like, this wisdom is not Buddhist. It's just wisdom. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I totally consider him a Buddha. And, you know, this whole idea is one of the main cruxes of Buddhism, of what we're studying. So I'm so into this that, you know, I got miracles tattooed here. Because I've had insights into this. I've had moments where it's opened up to me and I'm like, oh my God, so much more is possible, you know, with a lot of hard work. And you get these tastes, and, you know, then things go back to ordinary and you get, you know, audited and I'm going to transform that, I swear. You know, and it's, yeah, this idea is idealistic. You know, that's why in this great moment in my life, I'm like, I don't want to forget this, you know. So I got this tattoo, and then I look at it often, and I'm like, you know, am I living like this? And it's hard, you know. It takes some work to maintain, but it's possible. So I have another cool story. I was thinking of it today when I was going over this that I want to share that relates to it, that I thought was really beautiful. It's like one of the coolest stories I heard from someone. So it's from a friend that I went to Burning Man with, and we went out to dinner last night, and he was telling me a story of he had this experience. He was doing this ceremony with this shaman, and he's not like this super spiritual person. You know, he hasn't been studying a lot, but he's got something special about him. He's got a big attraction to it. And this experience happened to him where he was like overflowing with love, like everything. Like he was in total bliss, total love for like hours, you know? And even like as he was telling the story, his eyes were so bright. It was so cool to hear the story. And I was like, so, you know, and this happened 6 months ago. And the way he was telling it was like, it was still happening to him. And I'm like, so what did you take from it? And he's like, the fact that I know that that's inside of me, that that's possible, it makes me want to work towards it, you know? So that's kind of like, that's my relationship with the extraordinary and the ordinary, you know? It's not something that, you know, it's happening all the time. It's something that you work towards. And just thinking about it and remembering it and realizing it is, you know, it's a part of your practice. So, and there are new people here, so I'm really excited because we're going to do... The new people are like... I actually want to throw it out there. If anyone wants to volunteer, if anyone wants to give it a shot. Do you want to give it a shot real quick? Are you sure? It's fun. Try it, please.
Okay.
Turn around. Come up here.
So, who hasn't seen this before?
There's
doesn't know.
Okay.
So help me out if I go astray. So, what is this? It's not a trick question.
It's a pen.
What else could it be? What else is it? Oh, sorry. That's a good one, actually, especially for today, right? So, it's a pen. What makes it a pen?
They can write with it.
Write with it.
I have a student who doesn't write with it.
When it runs out of when it runs out of ink, is it still a pen?
We still call it a pen, right?
We still call it a pen. What is it right now?
It's keeping your hair out of your face.
Styling too.
Pretty accessory.
Accessory. So when it runs out of ink, you said we still call it a pen. What is it that makes it a pen? What qualities does it have that make us call it a pen? It has ink. But we just said when it runs out of ink, we still call it a pen. So when it has no ink, then it's trash. So what about the other, like it has a clip, right? You can clip it on. If it doesn't, you can put it in your pocket protector. If it doesn't have a clip, is it still a pen?
Yes.
Yeah. What about if it doesn't have like a clicky thing? It's still a pen. So how many parts of this could you remove and still call it a pen?
Everything but the ink.
Everything but the ink.
Well, then you have
Do
a
you
full
just have
ink.
ink?
The little ink funnel. You can just pull the ink part out and it'll still be a pen. The little ink funnel.
And if we gave this pen to the baby in the back there, what would it be?
A chew toy and something that
And a dangerous object.
So depending on whose hand is, if I'm just holding it and if I'm like really nervous, I'm just going like that, is it still a pen if I'm not using it to write with? You still call it a pen?
It's an annoyance.
So what is it about it that makes it a pen? What part? It has so many different little parts, right?
The point.
The point. So if we had just the point and not the rest of it, would we still call it a pen? The blood in.
Oh, I was thinking it's kind of like a sandwich. Because, you have your bread and you have your cheese and your lettuce and whatever. Separately, they have the separate things, but then when you put it together, it's like a sandwich.
So it's only
it's made up of parts. That's Lama Root would be very proud of you. He might even steal it from you. So I think there's another way. Oh, thanks. Okay. So there's a new trick I just learned from Geshe Michael too. So we can't even find what makes it a pen. Like we can't agree on what makes it a pen. Do you know what I mean? Like we got all these different ideas and we can go on forever trying to figure out what makes it a pen, And so everyone put up your right hand. Okay. So the qualities of pen, is it coming at me or is it coming from me? So you guys do your hand motion to let me know we're all on the same page. Yeah, okay. So this is going to be our sign language throughout the class. Let's come back to this concept. It's a very simple concept. It's summed up like this. So, if it was self-existently a pen, this is a word that we use a lot. If it was self-existently a pen, if the quality of pen existed within this, then that's what it would be, and everyone would see it that way. Everyone could agree on it in a second, and everyone could agree on what makes it a pen. When you start to break it down, you see that it's a thought and a label that we project on it, and it is a pen. Nobody's going to say it's not a pen. It functions as a pen, and but not everyone sees it that way. I'm sure the shaman in the Amazon jungle, if he saw this, he's not going to see it the same way as us. MacGyver, I'm sure. He doesn't see it the same way as us. So this pen is empty. This pen is empty of being a pen from its own side. It's empty of being anything from its own side, you know? It's even empty of being ordinary from its own side, okay? So, so I'm going to bring in a wider perspective of how the pen can exist, which is kind of the basis of what I'm teaching. So let's just imagine that like a Buddha came in the room, or like the Dalai Lama or something, you know, came in the room, and you gave them this pen, all right? So your concept of Buddha, I think we've all got a concept, you know, it's probably a little different, but we all have this concept. So, you know, how would they see this? Do you think they'd see it the same way as all of us? Just like some crappy green pen that's been floating around my drawer that, you know, like, at least get the idea that they might see things a little different too. You know, the objects that we see. And it's all possible even in the same space. Do you know? Are we all on the same page with that? So it's just a little like so okay. So emptiness is like, that's one of our core ideas, core philosophies, you know, I mean, this is something we talk about a lot. I mean, as soon as you start studying Buddhism, you're going to hear emptiness, you're going to see the pen thing, you know, you're going to start to like look into this thing. What is emptiness? How does it work? You know, and it takes a while sometimes. You have to keep going back and like re-examining it. And even after you've heard it a million times, like you still need to hear this over and over again. I mean, Geshe Michael teaches this constantly, nonstop, and it's something we should never take for granted. It's really profound, and it's amazing that they've translated it into a way that we can actually hear, we can actually see, we can have that realization of like, it's a pen, it's a chew toy. You know what I mean? I like to switch the words emptiness with potential. You know what I mean? So, do you have to go, or? Aww, you're so cute, I can tell. Thank you so much for coming by, I love you. Danielle's an awesome yoga teacher, you should all take her class. She is, woo. Okay. Yeah, so this object is not self-existent anything. It's not self-existent ordinary. It has potential for something else because it's not a fixed thing. So this is very important. I'll probably repeat it because it's the whole basis of everything. So yeah, I wanted to start my teaching with that. You know, once you become very grounded in this logic, you can start to apply that logic. You can start to have fun with it. So my second quote, which I love, it's just, he blows my mind all the time, Einstein. I'm such a dork. My Lama James loves Einstein, so I take after Lama James a lot. Logic will get you from A to Z, and imagination will get you everywhere. So, you know, it's, like I said, it's important to start with this and then use it, you know. So I just want to make sure that, like, I've explained this well enough, you know? Do we feel like we're all, yes? Okay, good. I think that's the thing, that's one of the things that drew me to the Dharma. That's the thing that draws a lot of people to the Dharma is to really understand the mechanics of how it all works, you know? And that is our practice. We do have to understand the mechanics. We can't just like trust and hope everything's going to be okay and be a good person. If you know why you're being a good person, it's more powerful. So, yeah, so that's the jump off for my teaching. I actually wrote that in the notes. I didn't want to forget to say that. You know, we're going to use our imagination to shift how we relate to the things in our world. Our objects in our world, and everything is empty. You know, you can't point to one thing that doesn't have this nature of being empty of a self-existent quality. You know, and that could be your homework. Like, try to find it and meditate on it for the next 20 years. Call me when you do it. So, you know, objects have the potential to become totally magical, you know, when you infuse them with your intention. So, I think I said this already. I'm very, like, I think, like, all over the place, so that's why I always go into my notes, so be patient. Yeah, I'm a big believer in that Dharma should be fun. You know, Dharma practice should be fun. And just to be happy and enjoy what you're doing, enjoy this practice, you know, and you will practice more. I saw a really cool sign at the protest the other day. It's really sweet. There's some weird signs at the protest.
Were you in the protest?
Well, me and Sakura went the other day because we tried to see.
Were you walking on the bridge?
No, I didn't get arrested, no. But no, I saw a beautiful sign in the protest. I just wanted to share it with you. And it said, your greatest gift to God is to just be happy. And I think Goethe said that too. So, you know, this is something like my practice is just constantly, I'm trying to do things. Like, I'm trying to be very proactive about my life. Like, the best defense is a good offense. You know, I mean, the crappy things are going to happen, but at least, you know, I'm constantly like trying to just create good positive energy all the time. So when crappy things happen, okay, I'm knocked back, but, you know, and there's whole teachings on that, just how to deal with the crappy things. So I am going to use some verses from chapter 3. Are they in order?
Yes.
Yeah, oh, sweet, thanks. You're on it. Okay. So the first verse of chapter 3 is, "With joy I celebrate the virtue that relieves all beings from the sorrows of the states of loss and places those who languish in the realms of bliss." So this verse is all about just rejoicing, just in general. Like, it's just a good attitude to have. It just creates good energy. And what Shanti Deva is specifically rejoicing about is he's so happy that we're not stuck as suffering beings. Like, we're not stuck like this, you know? We can transform into a Buddha. Like, that's why we're here, you know? That is the point of this whole path. We can transform our reality to, you know, no more suffering, to nirvana. And that's pretty amazing. The virtue that he's talking about is understanding the pen thing. That's how you transform from being a suffering schmuck into nirvana and enlightenment. So it's understanding the pen and karma and how each of our actions produces a result. You know, it's like you've come here tonight. You decided to like come here in the cold and the rain and sit here because you saw this flyer and you want this wisdom. You know, you want to be a better person. You want to share that with the world. You know, no matter what, like, you've done that. Those are seeds. That's karma. You know, and that's gonna ripen. You know, you don't know when it's gonna ripen. It could ripen next week. It could ripen in 6 months. It could ripen in a few years. So, so that's what he's talking about in that verse. So the second verse I'm going to talk about is the intention, ocean of great good that seeks to place all beings in the state of bliss and every action for the benefit of all. Such is my delight and my joy. So, ocean of great good is the intention to become awakened for the benefit of all beings. So, so there's two levels of practitioners in Buddhism. There's Hinayana and Mahayana. Has everyone heard this before? Is everyone familiar with Hinayana and Mahayana? So there's the Hinayana path is like personal liberation. It's like, I need to get enlightened. Like, come on, I need to get enlightened. Well, actually, I need to reach nirvana. Sorry. And Mahayana is practicing for others. You know, your whole practice is about others, everything that you do. It's a different kind of enlightenment. And it's so much powerful by virtue of the fact that the actions that you're doing are constantly for others. So that's what Shanti Deva is happy about in that verse. So my next verse.
So wait, say what the ocean of great good is again.
The ocean of great good, the intention, ocean of great good. The ocean of great good is your intention. It's like your bodhisattva activities, like your wish to become enlightened for the benefit of all. Alright, so my next verse is, and through these actions now performed by the virtue I have just amassed, may all the pain of every living being be wholly scattered and destroyed. So in this verse, he's talking about dedication. It's knowing that what you do will affect the world, and just constantly keeping the love for others in your mind. So this is really the bedrock of the examples I'm going to give you, these three things: rejoicing, intention, and dedication. So I'll start with rejoicing. So I like this practice of like the subway meditation. Actually, I haven't taken the subway in a really long time because I have a Vespa. I have different meditations for my Vespa, which is like doing lots of holy mantras to be like da da da. If I get hit by a car, like I'm doing holy mantras. But I grew up in New York. I've been taking the subway since like forever, and the subway is a great place to practice, especially a great place to practice rejoicing. Rejoicing is really good if you're feeling like down or depressed or low or anything. It's something that'll just bring you up right away. So my subway meditation, some of you guys have probably heard this before, is just sitting on the subway and like connecting with whoever's around you, and just it's kind of like what Suzanne was talking about, just rejoicing in their good qualities, like wishing them happiness, just keeping these like positive thoughts all the time. So also just the fact of the virtue to be human is something really amazing too. I mean, to have a human birth is like awesome. So even like the biggest cretin in the world, do you know what I mean? Like if you were to perceive that, it's still pretty incredible to have this virtue, to be born in this human form. So and your friends, just rejoice in the good things in people's lives constantly. Rejoice in their relationships, their successes, their hair, just anything. And their laugh. Everything. So I'm going to share with you just a really quick story about how this like rejoicing really helped me in a very profound way. And this is a personal story. It's actually the first story that I told when we did this Lady Lamas thing, So I had this relationship for quite a few years, and I was in my early 20s, and when we parted ways, it wasn't so nice, and I had some bad feelings for a while. And this person used to like pop up everywhere. This person was doing like a lot of things in the world, and I'd see him in magazines, I'd see him in newspapers, and I'd see billboards, and it would create a lot of like tension inside of me, a lot of anger, a lot of things. And it just got to the point, especially with my Lama, where she's just like, okay, enough, come on, like let's sort this out, like you need to move on. And one of the first things I decided to start to do was rejoice. I'm like, okay, I see his stuff everywhere. I'm just gonna like be happy for him. And it was totally fake in the beginning. It was really like, oh, I'm so happy. And even it being fake, it's still like something did happen. Even it being fake, like I still felt like, oh, okay, like there's an option, there's a choice, and okay, I'm gonna keep trying. And it happened pretty quick, like the shift just happened. I was like, yeah, why wouldn't I be happy? This person's like totally successful and doing all these amazing things, and I helped him do it, and it just like overtook me. I was so happy. Like I felt his happy. Now I probably feel more happy for him than he does for himself. In fact, I know that. He's like I gotta get out of this situation. And I'm like, it's so awesome. And I like got over it. That was the one thing that was holding me back from like getting over him. And that whole thing was just that one simple thing, that I was feeling jealous or competitive, and that simple idea that I can just do this practice. It's unbelievable how powerful it is. And I mean, I got over him pretty quickly, you know? I mean, it was hard. I went through a few years where I was just like, and I got over him, and, you know, even the outside appearance has changed. Like, I ran into him, like, maybe 6 months after I really started doing this, and I saw him. We hadn't seen each other for 5 years, and it was this amazing thing. Like, we ran into each other in a restaurant, we just, like, locked eyes, and we just, like, hugged. And I think we hugged for, like, 20 minutes. It was insane. When we had left each other, it was like, you know, and I had no idea. You know, even it shifted the way that he saw me, just by virtue of the fact that I had shifted the situation so much. Do you know what I mean? And now he's supporting my Lamas in retreat. You know, it's, yeah, completely. So that's rejoicing. Don't take it, you know, don't take it lightly. It's a pretty awesome thing. So the second practice I'm going to talk about is intention, which I mentioned before. Like, intention is the thing that you infuse all your actions with to make them magical. And it's your secret practice. Nobody knows what you're doing when you're giving someone a cup of tea. Nobody knows, you know? It can just be this very, like, mindless rote action that we do all the time, or it can be something else, you know? Like, what's going on in your head, that's up to you. And though every thought is a karmic seed, and every thought ripens into something in your world in the future, all of your actions. So so you have this tool. I mean, I have intention written on, like, my bathroom mirror. I see it every day when I brush my teeth. I'm like, okay, yeah, intention, yeah. You know, every action, we have this opportunity constantly. So yeah, now I just want to kind of like wrap up this teaching with my part with just some really practical and like simple ways to do this. I mean, there's profound stories like the one I just told, you know, but that was a bunch of little actions. That was a bunch of little thoughts, you know. And sometimes these glorious, beautiful results happen like that, and sometimes it's simple, and it's work, and it's practice, something you do all the time. So I want to give an example when it comes to food, because this is something that we interact with every day. I mean, I would imagine. Sometimes I forget to eat all day. So food, I mean, this practice is really strong. Like, if you've ever been on a group retreat with people, like, you feel people doing this all the time. And I highly recommend that you try to go on a group retreat. And Geshe Michael's teaching these amazing retreats out in Arizona. You know, and you'll notice, like, people in the Sangha, when they get their food, they'll sit there like, you know what I mean? And people in the restaurant maybe are looking, or they're probably not paying attention. But, you know, we take this time and we transform the food, you know? And everyone does it in their own special way. I know when I'm on retreat, I see the food only as like nectar to help me in my meditation, to help me in my practice of being a bodhisattva. You know, I don't see it as anything normal and ordinary. I see it as like this really special gift. So yeah, you infuse your food with intention. You know, that's something we can all start doing like tomorrow or tonight. And it's like, it's reinvesting the karma. I mean, we have all this amazing food. We probably eat like better than anyone in the world. You know, we can eat anything at any time. And we take it for granted. You know, that amazing food came from some incredible karma in the past of us feeding someone, of us taking care of someone. You know, I mean, I think we all have pretty good lives, even when they suck. You know, they're pretty good. And, you know, we can just write out that karma, or we can reinvest it. You know, we can keep, like, making that karma grow. So, this is another example that's really cute, and I totally forgot about this until I sat down to do this teaching. And this is something Lama Lizette does when she gets dressed. she's like putting on her superhero costume. Do you know what I mean? Like that's her thing. You know, she's getting dressed in the morning. She's getting dressed as like a bodhisattva warrior to like go out there and like love people, and you know, and Lama Lizette can definitely do that. Like she is. So dancing. This is my Claudia example. We have a really good friend, Claudia, who loves dancing. I love dancing. And we made up this special dance. It goes like this. And it's just giving it away, all our happiness. Give it away, give it away. Yeah. Give me a Claudia at the club, like really cheesy. But it's like, you're so happy, and you're even happier if you're like, I dedicate this. Like, I just give this away. You know, like, this is for, Sandy does this too. Like, totally. I just give it to whoever, anybody, everybody, you know? You can have someone in mind, or you can dedicate it to your teachers. Swimming, anything that you do. I dedicate swimming to the Lamas because they're in the desert. So every time I swim, I think of them. I'm like, oh, you know, like the Lamas in the desert. Yeah, whatever. Another fun practice to do, which is really cool, and I forgot about so many of these, it's amazing, is to listen for secret messages everywhere, because like on billboards or passing conversations or the cover of a magazine, because you know, the Dharma doesn't exist in any of like the books or whatever, right? You know, the Dharma is coming, where is it coming from? The Dharma is coming from you, because you have the virtue to hear it, because you have a seed in your heart of loving others and wanting to help them. So you hear Dharma. So if it's coming from you, you can see it anywhere. You know, you can see it on like AM New York. You know what I mean? Like anywhere. So just remember that. Like pay attention. Be like, okay, maybe there's a secret message for me somewhere today, and you'll get it. You know, you will totally get it. So,
a lot of homeless people that's talking to them.
Yeah,
they're always saying something amazing.
I know. I used to have that karma with Chandra, Venerable Chandra. We would walk around and homeless people come up to us and say like the most profound things. I'm like, wow. You know, and you can see how these practices just make you happy. And when you're happy, you see others as happy. You know, and that's how you change the world too. That's actually how you do it. You know, and now that just even talking about this and knowing of the possibilities, like you'll start to develop your own little ideas, your own little practices. Like they'll come to you, you know. Like mine is dancing and this and that. So yeah, that's your homework, to just remember the like potential, and you know, things are empty, things are not ordinary, and start to come up with your own. That's when it's really fun. Like something will just click to you, and you'll be like, I'm gonna do this, and you don't tell anyone until you know somebody asks you to teach the Lay Lamas thing. Then you can tell people your secrets. But you know, it's yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I talked for a long time. Let's take a break. Is that okay? Should we take a quick break? Is that all right? Okay.